This week I want to share with you how you can succeed as a private investigator using alternate sources of information. Hi, I'm Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com and the creator of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide series, which is premium private investigator training from someone who's been there and done that. Now, this actually comes up from, I can't remember if it was an email or a post that I got, but I do remember it was from Scott, who contacted me and liked the material that I was putting out, the training that I'm putting out. And he included one little phrase in his comment or email that struck me, and it says, I've always been interested in research. And that really is exactly right. I mean, what we do as investigators, sure, we're working on cases and we're investigating, but if you think about it, we're researching. Now, it's kind of at a different level, and the consequences are huge because there are human beings and lives that they may go one way or another if you think in terms of child custody and divorces and criminal cases, but basically what we're doing is we're researching. And I just love the way that Scott put that. So let me talk as far as this researching goes. We can talk about it as investigating or researching, but I want to talk to you about using alternate sources of information. And this is really where private investigators excel over anybody else in the general public. And even kind of, there's a lot of people out there, maybe you're one of them, and this is absolutely fine, but you kind of are pretty good at finding out things. You are able to kind of find information and learn things that your friends can't, so you're able to help them out. Maybe it's when they've needed help in a court case, or maybe with a cheating boyfriend, girlfriend, that type of thing. So you kind of already have that mindset. Well, professional investigators, we just have to take that up just a notch because, let's face it, we get paid. The more we succeed, the more cases we're going to get, the more referrals we're going to get, the more money we make. So succeeding is not just something that we do for the other person, but it's also something that helps us. And using alternate sources of information can be helpful for that. So I want to give you a case study today. This is a real world thing that actually happened. It's just a really good example. And it was a case where I was investigating an auto accident that happened in a little small town, literally one of those towns with one stoplight, and kind of a part-time police department even. And I needed some records and some information about this accident beyond what was just on the accident report. So I wanted to get some of the dispatch records about it. And I contacted the police department and was just coming up against a brick wall. They just were not being helpful, were not giving the records up, as they actually, in my area, in my state, are required to by state law. So, after a few days of bumping my head against the wall about this type of thing, I kind of like, let's see an alternate source of information. What's another way to get access to the records that I need? And, as you do this more and more, you learn things. Maybe you're learning this here now for the first time, but these small police departments are frequently not dispatched by themselves. It's not like they hire and have a little call center, have a dispatcher, that type of thing. Usually they're contracted through the sheriff's office, through the county, to take 911 calls and to be dispatched and that type of thing. So when the police department, and specifically the police chief, was giving me no help at all and actually a little bit of grief, I went to the sheriff's office and, instantaneously was, that very same day was able to pull the records that I need. Now, 2 days later, the chief of police calls me back and really is actually kind of a little threatening. And if you're not in this business, don't worry about that type of thing. He wasn't threatening violence, but, he said, look, someday you're going to want something in our small town and you're going to have trouble getting it. And I said, Chief, I already wanted something in your small town and I couldn't get it. I'm sorry, but that's all I can say. That's all I can tell you. And he kind of realized that he had already played the best trump card he's got, and game over. I got the information I wanted. So I want you to see though from this is how I looked at it. I looked at the situation and said, what's another source of information I can find for what I need? And you're going to do this with every aspect of your investigations. Sure, you're going to have your go-to sources. You're going to know when you skip trace, you're going to have this 1, 2, or 3 places that you normally go, maybe even an online database that really kind of pays off for you 9 out of 10 times, and that's wonderful. But what happens when that database gives you an old address? What happens when the information's not there? What are your alternate sources of information? Sometimes you'll have to stop and think, how else could I find this out? But there might be a situation, and I know this is what I did for a long time. So I just had a workbook on my desk that I could pull out and flip through and kind of look down through my different options. If I was skip tracing by name, here's the different places I can search for name. If I'm searching by address, here's some different places I can search by address. And over the years, you can develop more and more obscure references that can pay off for you when other ones don't. And that actually became the source of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide to Missing Persons and Fugitives, which I have over at beapi.com. May not be there by the time you watch the video. I'm kind of thinking about discontinuing that and revamping it a little bit. It's very old school. Not that it's bad information. It's great stuff when all the social media stuff and databases fail for you. It's really back to basics. But that's the workbook the one that I actually sell is the one that I kept on my desk so that I could go through, even with all my experience, to find alternate sources of information as well. And I didn't plan to share all of that with you, but what I want you to know is as you live your life, as you do your investigations, look at other sources where you can get the same information. This will set you apart from other investigators. This will give you success when others are failing and coming up against dead ends. And you know what? You only got to succeed beyond that last guy who tried it once to win over a new client. If you approach a law firm and you say to them, hey, I can help you out, give me your toughest thing, and you're able to take care where their last guy wasn't able to, boy, that could be a whole new, and for me that has been, that can be a whole new source of revenue, a whole new repeat client for you. So you can see how these little things, and the things I share with you online sometimes are little, sometimes are big. Don't underestimate them because they can make a difference in the success rate of your cases and the success rate of your business as well. This is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.